Welcome to Off Grid Victory. I've been a prepper for a very long time, and of course, I live off grid, and I'm mainly a homesteading channel. But some of the information I've seen on the internet, on YouTube, I just wanted to add my couple cents, even more than that, to the world of the prepper community, because I really think a lot of preppers have it wrong. And I follow guys like Canadian Prepper, and I follow the 4Gs of survival or prepping. It's something that I kind of coined. So the 4Gs I would like to go over in this video. So it'll be kind of lengthy, but I will explain each one in fair amount of detail, and I'll try to back it up scripturally speaking. And that way people will have an understanding of not only my own faith but a lot of others out there, and how we use our faith to live and ultimately survive, especially in the dark times that are foreseen by a lot of people, and which it might not come in our lifetime, but hey, it's always great to be prepared. And I think ultimately some of the things that I'm going to talk about today will be useful for a lot of folks. And so let's get started. So yeah, I'm showing this bag not because I'm sponsored by Maxpedition in any way, but it's a bag, and it's going to illustrate the 4Gs of survival that I want to talk about. So the first G is in this bag, and that's this guy right here. Now, it's not a book, of course, it's a Bible. It's the Holy Bible. It's the King James Version, which I would highly recommend. Not maybe the very, very best, but hey, the King James Bible, we know the imperfections of it, but we also know that it is a perfect book, the Bible. So the first G is God. Yeah, God. Or I'd like to say Yah, and the people that I worship with say Yah. It can be found in the book of Psalms, and it represents the Tetragrammaton, and of course Jesus Christ himself, right? So God is the most important in the first G, because even the worldly books like SAS Survival, they point out that the number one way that people survive hardship and endure is their overriding faith, their belief in something higher, a purpose that's higher than them. And so, the book here talks about, let's say, one example is King Hezekiah, and that's in 2 Kings 20:21. And Hezekiah was very sick unto death, and of course he prayed to Yah and received 15 years more of life. And so in a survival situation, call upon the Father, call upon God, and ultimately he'll get you through it, and even potentially expand or extend your life. And of course we know the stories of David, and in Psalm 18, he says, I will call upon Yah, who is worthy to be praised, so I shall be saved from my enemies. So, if you're dead, obviously you're not going to be able to praise the Father, right? So pray to the Father for that as well. So yes, the first G is God, and I'm using the Bible here as a representation of it. And so the next G is in my book. Okay, I'm going to look in here, and that's this guy. And yes, it's Mountain House. It represents G for groceries, right? Food in some manner or form, and it happens to be in my bag here because it's pretty lightweight. I use it on camping trips. And food also is sustenance, right? And so also water, don't forget water. And so there's lots of prepping videos out there on food and water. I'm not going to go through that, but I'm going to take you back to, biblically speaking, about food. Put it here. And so yeah, I mean, ultimately groceries, the second G. There's stories like Noah, where he took 7 pairs of clean animals to eat, right, on the ark, and he also used that for sustenance while he was in a survival situation, if you will. And of course, we know the stories of Joseph very well when he was able to have the foresight and the vision from the Father to store bulk grains for the hard times, right? And so food, groceries, is that number two. Now, the next thing in my book, so the next G, number 3G, is this guy right here. And yeah, it's my gun. And so G for gun, and you know, rifles, obviously. Use your pistol to get to a rifle. But also in the book, Luke chapter 22, 36, Jesus said that he that had no sword, let him sell his garment and buy one. So yeah, you're gonna have to at least have one sword, right? The short sword represented today is a pistol. And yeah, pistols, rifles, ammo, that's the number 3G that you need for survival. So the last thing on my list, the last 4G, is this guy, and here's a representation, and that's this, and that's gold. Now this is no ordinary gold piece. This happens to be a 2013 reverse proof buffalo. It's a it's oddly enough only worth $50 if you try to sell it to anybody who will buy it. That's actually what the currency says it's worth, right? $50. I'll just make sure on the back. At any rate, yeah, it's worth what gold is worth, 1 ounce, roughly $1,800, something like that in today's market. But you need gold, and in terms of the Bible, Abraham was very rich, and he had lots of things, including silver and gold. And we know silver is or was a currency, and gold as well. And so yeah, so you need gold. And of course, the guy who had ultimately a lot of gold was Solomon. And so he sets the example for gold, I guess. But in terms of Abraham, the father of faith, he had food, cattle, he had gold and silver, and he had an army, like, you know, to basically help his family lot out. And of course, he had scripture within him as well, and he had God. So the 4 G's of survival, here it is, and I'll put it in this order so you'll be able to see what I think is the 4 G's. Sorry about all this camera work, but we're kind of working in a confined space here. So the first G is God, the second G is groceries, and the third thing is guns, and the last thing is gold. So here are my 4 G's of survival and of prepping, and hopefully this helps out somebody. There's lots of videos on individually these items, but ultimately this is what you'll need to survive the hard times that may or may not come. And so yeah, shalom guys.